Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network, a division of the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network. The following program broadcast is an original creation by the broadcast entity. Discussion within the following broadcast should be used for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice or consultation. Before considering application of any broadcast content in the following program, please consult your healthcare provider. If you feel you are having a medical emergency, please contact your local health services for immediate assistance. MS&Me Media and the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network do not guarantee or warrant the accuracy of information in the broadcast to follow. The Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network provisions broadcast services to program hosts. Information discussed in the broadcast does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or goals of the network and are solely those of the show broadcast host. Should you wish to host a broadcast, please visit our website at msmemedia.com and submit a request to become a program host. We thank you for listening to the MS&Me Radio Network. Enjoy the show.
I want to say good morning, but depending on the time that this show is aired, hi, this is Dan Digman.
And this is Jennifer Digman.
And welcome to the 13th episode of A Couple Takes on MS. A couple because obviously, well, not obviously, but we're a married couple. I'm Dan. I have relapsing remitting MS.
And I'm Jennifer, and I've been living with secondary progressive MS.
For you're coming up on about 2 decades, and
I'm coming up, and well, you're pretty close to 2 decades.
We're flirting
so
with 20
we're
years.
A seasoned couple. We're experienced with multiple sclerosis, and we welcome you to our show today in beautiful Mount Pleasant, Michigan, because there's not much more beautiful weather to experience. I mean, we're getting close. It depends on your perspective. I am not a cold weather person, so I want to drink in and enjoy every warm moment left of this year.
And here's what we're talking about today. It's really, MS is a tough disease, and so we're asking you the questions: what gets you through? I mean, what gets you through going from one day to the next, facing the challenges that we face every day?
And that warm, sunny weather that we're experiencing here in Michigan right now is getting me through, because I know that winter is approaching, and so I want to soak up every moment of this, and I look forward to getting outside and doing things today, because we are having unseasonably warm temperatures. Spoken like a true
gander.
True. I was thinking weatherman as well. If you ever, if this whole writing thing doesn't work out, you have a potential for a weatherman. But anyway, sorry, I got away from the topic. So what gets you through, Dan?
Well, I think, dating back, I mean, think about you out there in radio land. I mean, just think about what it is that gets you through. I think back to what really helped me when I was first diagnosed, and obviously it still applies today. It's just, I needed music. Music really helped me push through, and finding words and meanings and lyrics just to get me through. And anybody who knows me,
I was going to ask if there was any kind of music in particular that gave you the strength or the clarity or the power to get through.
It was Bruce Springsteen. I think that, I know that everything about his music, and I'm lifetime Springsteen fan. I mean, for crying out loud, I have the best wife in the world, and that she permitted us, or gave me the permission. It's not a man cave, but I do have our office in this house is dedicated to everything Bruce Springsteen: paintings, pictures,
and
concert
it is
posters,
and ticket stubs, and just all sorts of memorabilia. And I think that his music gets you through. And I know that When I met Dan, it was one of those things where I was like, ugh, he likes Bruce Springsteen. But now, all these years later, I've had the opportunity to see many a Springsteen concert, and his music, not the same songs that work for Dan necessarily, but I've been able to find some strength in his music as well. And I think that doesn't necessarily get me through everything, but there are definite songs that will get me through some tough stuff.
And so we talk about Springsteen, but I mean, just think about for you personally out there listening, what song helps you? I know that Jennifer, as we talked about newly diagnosed, you had some songs, you had some things that got you through.
And I'm dating myself here, but I don't know if any of you remember the television show Ally McBeal. It was on TV maybe 20 years ago. Oh my goodness, am I that old? But 20 years ago, it was Callista Flockhart and a group of quote-unquote zany lawyers, and Ally had a theme song. Whenever things got tough for her, she would go back to music, like a particular song that would give her, center her and make her able to fight through the moments. And I took inspiration from that. So for the last 20 years, my theme song has been Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down. And it's a particularly touching song right now because Tom Petty just recently passed away. And I know that when I'm in those moments and MS is just rearing its monstrous head, I remember I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. I mean, I get so much strength from those lyrics. And that sounds silly because I've never met Tom Petty, especially now because he's deceased. And I've seen his concert a couple of times. But those music, that lyric can stick with me at any moment in time to really help me. So I think that music helps me, but I know other things got me through.
And I think that's what works with the music is that it's dependable, it's predictable, and you know what does and doesn't work, and it's never going to fail you. I mean, unless you lose electricity or battery or charging your phone to listen to the music. But I think another thing that helped me through that's always dependable is my faith, and I think that's just where, and I'm not preaching here, and it doesn't have to be, I'm Lutheran, but it's like Christian faith. But I think just anything spirituality, anything spiritual that helps you to look forward, to feel connected, to know that there's, potentially something greater out there to help drive you through, and I think.
And it gives you strength in those really tough moments. Your faith does, and not to cheapen faith, but I know my friendships get me through. If I'm having, I think I've talked before about my weakness in my right hand, which is particularly difficult right now because I haven't walked for 15 years, so I've kind of let my legs go. I'm fortunate that I'm still able to stand and pivot transfer, but I've always had my right hand to rely on, and it's been weak and a little unfunctional. And I've talked about my going to occupational therapy, and I use the drug Empira. I use what's the word, like a
Pharmacy compound.
Like a pharmacy compound. Thank you, Dan. A compounded form of Empira, and that I've had to stop using because something is making my previous big bad trigeminal neuralgia rear its ugly head, and I'm afraid that it is the Empira, and so I've stopped using that. And this whole long story gets to the fact that my OT and my Empira was helping my right hand, but one day I was trying to use it with a computer and a mouse, and it wasn't working, and I was so incredibly frustrated, and I was so incredibly upset. So I knew that I was going to be talking to a really dear friend of mine, in about a half an hour. And instead of getting frustrated and having a meltdown, because I'm not embarrassed to admit that I have meltdowns that would rival the crabbiest 3-year-old, but instead of having that meltdown, I took a deep breath, much like I did right there, and I said, okay, you're going to be talking to Patty in about a half an hour. Just hold it together, stretch out your hand, and push through. Because, getting to talk to my friends, those were something that they got me through. I don't talk to her all of the time, and I knew that if I could just keep it together, Patty was at the end of the day, or then, in a little bit, and so that got me through that moment. And so, some people use music, some people use faith. I use my family, talking to my brother, my parents, or my friends, and they get me through, and I feel very fortunate that I have that to get me through.
And I think that that's something, tying into something that I've got from another colleague of mine and everything, and I'm sure it's something that's out there, but she always talks about the LFTs, that you always need something to look forward to. It's like, what are you looking forward to? So in talking about waiting on, holding on for talking with Patty, or I think that even, looking forward to, vacation, something big. I think the one thing that we're going to today has been like an LFT for about the last 5 months.
6 months, yes.
We're going this afternoon to see a traveling Broadway show of Wicked, which is...
I won't sing to you, but it's an amazing musical with opulent costumes and beautiful staging and just amazing, incredible music.
So, we're doing that. We have to see that in about an hour, about 2 hours southwest of here. And with that then following, then it's like total embarrassment of riches today. After seeing Wicked in the afternoon matinee, we'll see one of our favorite groups, OAR, tonight at a club in Grand Rapids. And I think this, because of and then staying the night down in Grand Rapids, and I think that's, a huge LFT for us, because really when we got the tickets and coordinated all of this event today, this epic day, is the combination of we did not get birthday presents, Christmas presents, or anniversary presents. This is everything all rolled into one, and this is an epic LFT.
And we're very much looking forward to it. And we have used the music of OAR, which is interesting. We've used that to get us through. In fact, Dan wrote a blog about that.
Yeah, we wrote a blog.
Well, we wrote a blog about just how the lyrics of one of their songs really gives us strength. And so,
it's a blog that appeared on Mango Health, if you want to check that out. But I think the lyric from that was... bravery, my neighbor moved away because I don't need to be courageous today. There's so many other songs, but it's just like, with living with multiple sclerosis, I think sometimes you feel, do you out there listening, do you ever feel pressure? It's just like everyone says, oh, you're such an inspiration, but like there's just some days I just don't feel like, I want to let my guard down because I'm just, beat down, tired. But then using those lyrics from that song, it just totally recharges, or say, yeah, I got this. We can move forward, and so that's the epicness of the day, and so that's been a major LFT, and it's kind of one of those things. It's hard to believe it's here.
It's here, and we are going to be able to have hopefully incredible memories, and that'll be something. And then once we get this day done, we'll have plenty to look back on. But then we'll move on to another LFT, I think that's an amazing way to just keep going, is you have something to look forward to. And for me, one of the silliest look forward to is that television show, This Is Us. I don't know if you've watched this show, but it's on TV one night a week, and I know that that's Dan will record it, and we will sit down and we will be dedicated to a television show. It's a very good television show if you haven't seen it. But if you haven't, that would be amazing because everyone talks about it. But we will just sit down. We will not think about work. We will not think about multiple sclerosis or anything like that. We
Your
will just
OT,
be, we'll just be committed to the cast and the plot of This Is Us. So that's a silly look forward to. But I look forward to Dan popping popcorn and putting up my feet and just being mindless. But you kind of have to pay attention to the show. But you focus on that for an hour, and that's something I look forward to. And that's a little thing, where you can just some silly, or I look forward to after OT this week, I got a cookie, a McDonald's cookie, and I look forward to that, just getting me
It was
through.
like your prize, and I think that's and what works with something like a TV show like This Is Us, and I think that's one of the deals. It's like it's on, and we're not paid endorsers, so we're just saying, but it's like it's on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But we end up probably not watching it till Wednesday or Thursday, and so then that's a fear because then I have coworkers who also watch it, and everybody wants to talk about it the day after, but everyone is respectful of it. It's just like no spoilers, and I think that's where we try to shy away from a lot of time on Facebook or Twitter or social media because of all the spoilers that could come out about that. But it's like with that show then, that opens up the connections, so you have something in common with other people you're close to, or even to go online to chat rooms of things just where people can talk about it, and then that's ties back then to your friendship notion that friends help you get through.
Yeah, and those connections and that sense of community. It's really fun to rehash an episode of a TV show at the appropriate time after everyone's all caught up, but just to talk about that and the things you enjoy or the plot twists and things you didn't see coming. But that sense of community where you don't feel isolated, because I know, as I talked about winter earlier, winter can be isolating, especially for someone in a wheelchair where it's a little more difficult to get out of the house. But with those Facebook and Twitter, you can feel connected to people that are so incredibly far away. But you can have those conversations and those communities, and I think that's very important, and that's a good thing about social media. And it does, when MS is isolating you, it's very easy for you to get connected. And you can talk about a television show or going back to music like Dan was talking about. Heaven knows there are many a platform to talk about the music of Bruce Springsteen. And you don't have to have a computer right in front of you. You can talk on your mobile phone, or there's many ways that you can get engaged with social media.
What about then like as far as looking forward to, obviously we're not like animals fearing the vet, but I mean sometimes it's just even having a doctor's appointment that's just like because the disease is so difficult and such a challenge, is just having a doctor's appointment to look forward to. It's like, okay, this is a place where I can get answers. I know I have this huge question. So it's like, in that sense, keep your doctor, continue to make appointments with your physician, with a doctor, with an expert, or like you, it doesn't have to be a neurologist. I mean, for all of us, it doesn't have to be neurologist or physician. I mean, it's, an appointment with an occupational therapist, a physical therapist, a counselor, just those things that are going to say, okay, this will help me get through, and then maybe with whatever advice or direction I get from this professional, that's going to continue to help me push through, or help me find new things to be concerned about.
I have another dear friend, Priya, who is a physical therapist, and she has several times sent me emails recommending the WALS protocol. Not that I'm advocating that or Probably anyone with multiple sclerosis knows what I'm talking about. But Priya is encouraging me to consider changing my diet, and I've read things about anti-inflammation diets, and I haven't put those in place yet, but I just wonder if I did change my diet, would my MS calm down a little? And I'm not sure. I'm not certain about that, but I appreciate that my friend Priya does constantly think about me and encourage me to make some of these changes to better my health. And so with her advice, and she is a physical therapist, she will recommend more exercise, more activity, and the things like that. And I think that those friendships, those connections really help you. And I see Dan's wheels turning in his head about, and reducing the inflammation diet. That is something that we both could benefit from. And I don't know what it's going to take for us to try it, but I'm interested in that natural way to attack multiple sclerosis instead of medications that, maybe we can do it that way. What do you think?
Well, it's just that there's what I like. I mean, think about this. How many, you take the Rituxan infusions.
Yes.
I take beta seron, and so I have an injectable, but it's like thinking of all of the options that are out there for us, that we could do. I mean, there's oral medicines I could do. There's other, ocrelizumab.
Yes.
Ocrevus is the. I mean, there's just
newly released medication.
yeah. I mean, there's other options. There's there's this other types of medicines or the diet, the anti-inflammatory diets, things like that, the Wallace protocol. I mean, it's just what's encouraging, and I think potentially that is a thing that can help us all get through, is just knowing the options, the opportunities, the potentials. Like when you and I were diagnosed, nearly 20 years ago.
There were 3 drugs, and now there is so much more medication available, other ways to treat the disease.
More knowledge. I mean, there's now with IQity, easier ways to diagnose the disease sooner. I think so. For those of us living with the MS, whether you're newly diagnosed or are seasoned veterans like we are after 2 decades,
yes.
It's just there has to be some encouragement to help us get through, to see and recognize that there's movement happening in the MS world.
Definitely, and it has to be a little bit in yourself. You have to find something to get you through. There are a lot of things out there, but Dan and I we believe in the little things that get us through. Those moments that give you the strength to continue on with the disease. And it doesn't have to be huge, but break the day down if you have to. Like if I can get through until noon, or just don't give up. And I think, like building blocks, the more you stop and say I can get through this, the more it's going to build on each other, and you'll get through your day.
Well, and I think too, because like right now, just so you can obviously see what time of day it is, as I wanted to say good morning to you out there. But it's just like right now, I'm looking forward to English muffin and peanut butter.
And a cup of coffee.
And a cup of coffee for breakfast. And I think that's, and what's cool about those kinds of things is it's not MS related. And I think that's the one thing, we can talk about the doctor's appointments and things like that, or like words that get us through. But it's like finding things that aren't disease related
because you're more than your MS. We have to remember we have MS, but it is not all we are. We're people that go beyond the disease. The disease is a small part of us. And I think that, when you get in those dark moments where all you see is yourself and multiple sclerosis, what will get you out of that? What things can you look forward to? and what gets you through that. You need to focus on that because you're more than this disease.
And that's not to say that, your LFTs are the things that get you through. Your MS isn't going to be a part of that. I think, we're so geeked about going to see Wicked and OAR, but at the same time, we had to strategize to get accessible seats, and we're concerned then, just like making sure, okay, will it be accessible? Will there be handicapped bathrooms at the venues?
And the reality is I'm not going to drink too much coffee because we are going to have to get in the car and go for a 2-hour car ride and sit at a performance for a couple hours. So maybe I'll just have a little this morning.
You can just you can have the coffee vicariously through me.
Or I can have just a little.
I'll give you a sip.
Okay.
Wow.
But that will be a good day, and we encourage and hope you all have a good day today, and that you can focus on the things that you have to look forward to and what will get you through the day and get you through every day.
And I think with this, we've just shared some of the tips that have helped us get through. So check in with us, please. We're at danandjenniferdigman.com, or on Twitter, it's at danjendig. And just let us know what helps you get through. What are the things that get you through this disease? I mean, if we can get enough responses or information, we'll put a blog together. We'll do something to kind of help other people, because truly this is a community of people here with MS, and so check in with us.
And speaking of the community, we hope you enjoyed MS Journey that was on before us, and enjoy MS Gamers Hut after us, because this community of radio shows is pretty impressive. And thank you very much to MS&Me Radio Network for including us. And the one last thank you we have
We always want to thank Blue Giraffe Kid for composing the theme music for our show. And again, hang on for MS Gamers Hut, and tune in to the MS&Me Radio Network. There's shows all the time, so there's lots of great advice and information about multiple sclerosis here. But we appreciate you taking the time today to check in with us.
And we'll talk to you next week.